with another episode of Council Bluffs Today, and unbelievably happy to be sitting in the studio again, and I can think of no better guest to have on after having gone through everything that I went through here, than Nancy Ruffcorn from Timothy Lutheran. Thank you so much for coming in.
I am delighted to be here today.
Now, we just had you on recently, and talking about how you are helping mothers and get diapers and different things that they need. But you and the folks at Timothy and some other organizations as well have been working on a project that is bringing something to Council Bluffs that I think it's not real common yet, if I understand this right.
Not in our area.
Not in our area. So tell me, what is this? What are we going to be seeing?
Today, we're going to talk about community refrigerators. And when I go places, most people go, what?
Yeah, that's kind of what first time I heard it, that was my reaction.
So let's start back to the beginning. Right now in the U.S., the statistics show that if all of us collectively and caterers, restaurants, grocery stores stopped throwing away serviceable food, I'm talking about anything we could eat,
Yes,
that we could eliminate hunger in America with no additional food production.
Really?
Zero. So the idea is, how can you capture that food? And that can be personal or it can be a business. So let's say you own a restaurant, and there are many things at the end of the day that get pitched that are still edible. They just didn't sell that day.
Right.
So the community refrigerator concept is that we get food producers to place a call to us rather than go to the dumpster with that food. Groups will come pick it up, repackage it, and put it into a refrigerator in an unlocked environment outside.
Okay.
So again, you're rescuing the food at the end of the day that would be thrown away. So we get the donor to call a number, a volunteer picks it up if it requires repackaging. So let's say that's a tray of mashed potatoes from a caterer. Well, obviously no one wants a tray of mashed potatoes, so you put that in takeout containers and label them and put in a refrigerator that's outside a building. So the refrigerator is accessible 24/7.
So this sounds like it's a lot of moving pieces
Yes.
to make all of this come
It is.
together, because you have to have people donating. You have to have people working to divide all of that up. You have to have somebody monitoring what's going on there and make sure that everything stays the way that it needs to stay.
Right.
How long have you been working on this? Because this sounds like a massive project to me.
Well, it's a lot of little things. So at Timothy, we started working on it in late November or early December of last year. And what happened to us, to give a plug to one of our neighbors, the Iowa West Foundation told us about it, and they referred us to an organization called Saving Grace Food Rescue in Omaha. And Saving Grace has already hosted 3 community refrigerators in Omaha. And so I reached out to them and said, hey, tell me more about your program. And we have met with the people. And what happened is they got funding to place 3 shelters and refrigerators in Council Bluffs in 26. So right now, 2 of the 3 are spoken for. So we're still looking for one more host site in the city. And to host one, essentially all you need is a neighborhood where people are food insecure and a power source.
Now, with all of this, this is not the first place that this has happened.
Yeah.
So what have you seen in other locations where this has already been implemented?
Okay, we have the most information about Des Moines, and when Saving Grace started, they patterned their program after Des Moines. So the current statistics show that in Des Moines, population city proper around 210,000. And during 26, the prediction is they will open their 100th refrigerator. And I think that's pretty amazing for a city that size.
100. Wow.
And so when we were researching this, we wanted to find a church and get the church experience. Some of them are located on churches, businesses, shopping centers. Some of them are located near a community garden. They can be anywhere as long as there are people in the neighborhood struggling. So, for the structure itself, imagine for a moment, when I was a kid, my grandparents had a wooden wardrobe because houses had small closets,
Mhm.
and it has double doors, so it's wooden, and the structure is 6 to 8 feet wide, 8 feet tall, and the depth of a refrigerator. So if you open it, one side has a standard household refrigerator
Okay.
with the refrigerator in the bottom, freezer in the top. The other side, when you open it, has permanent shelvings, and at the bottom of the shelving side, there's a heater, with the idea that this shelter sits outdoors and a standard household refrigerator is damaged if the temp gets below 30. So in the winter, you turn the heater on to protect the refrigerator. And this structure is not locked, it's open, accessible 24/7.
Looking for a place to relax, recharge, and take better care of yourself? Kinetics Massage and Bodywork has moved into the Omni Center in Council Bluffs. Owner and licensed massage therapist Tina Hebner offers customized massage and bodywork designed around what your body needs, from relaxation massage to focused therapeutic work. And with the move into the Omni Center, Tina is building towards something even bigger, a larger wellness space for the Council Bluffs community. Take time for yourself. Schedule with Kinetics Massage and Bodywork at kineticsbodywork.com. If you have a leak, a clogged drain, or even if you're planning a big remodel, Waldstein Plumbing in Council Bluffs has you covered. With fast, reliable service and expert craftsmanship, handling everything from small repairs to major installations. They're locally owned and trusted and take pride in doing the job right the first time. Residential or commercial, big or small, when plumbing problems strike, they're the ones to call. Visit waldsteinplumbing.com. Have you, has Des Moines rather, and I don't know if you've have this information or not, gotten any feedback from folks that it's helping?
Oh, absolutely. The church that we've been talking to and has just provided a wealth of information to us tells us that they have a robust program. And even though they are rescuing food constantly, they do food drives and everything, and their church members tell them that they drive by all the time and the refrigerator's empty. So the perception is that you don't fill it, but the reality is the demand is so great that the minute you fill it, it's gone. And so we know that that will happen to us because we've already done a small box out front where we put personal hygiene items in. And you can fill it, and within a few hours, it's empty. So our members have that same perception. Gosh, it's always empty. And the answer is no, it's frequently utilized.
Yeah, that's a different way of looking at it. And I know that we have a significant portion of the population that sits below what the government would consider the poverty line
Absolutely.
that exists right now. You look at the cost of goods, you look at the cost of gasoline, you look
Yes.
at everything, which is what one of the reasons why you are doing with the diapers and the rest of
Absolutely.
it, because the cost has just gotten so prohibitive for a lot of folks.
Right.
And they have to
Right.
start making decisions about, is it going to be this or is it going to be this? Do we
Right.
keep the lights on or do we keep, and it's things are tough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we found with the diaper program that we do, we periodically um, poll our clients and just ask them to tell us the three largest unmet needs of their family. And we don't care what anything about names,
Mhm.
I could care less. And we were surprised that in our ministry that about one third or more of all clients said they were food insecure. And the thing that was baffling to me
Mhm.
is I have the list of Council Bluffs resources, and we have 12 food pantries in Council Bluffs. And so, in my mind, right, I was uninformed. I would have said, well, gosh, if there's 12 food pantries in town, why just can't you go to the food pantry? Well, Everybody who runs a food pantry does an awesome job. We have great
Hmm.
participants here in town, but let's just say for a minute that they're open Tuesdays and Thursdays, and I work Monday through Friday. There's not really a provision to be able to pick up on those days. So if I work on the days that they're open, I can't get there, or I don't have transportation to get to that food pantry. And we know that food pantries are most effective in the neighborhood where there's a need. So, between the meal sites, hot meal sites, and the food pantries, I was naive and thought that should take care of our neighbors. But when I realized it isn't, then that's when you think about what is plan B. Because obviously, with 12 awesome food pantries, we still have hungry people.
Where can or where are the donations coming from? You talked about restaurants, so
Uh-huh.
those connections need to happen. They need to know the process, how to get
Right,
them there.
right.
So how does that work?
Well, first of all, we are targeting restaurants, caterers, grocery stores, delis, places like that who have commercial kitchens.
Mhm.
And so we will begin calling on those people probably in about 2 weeks to um, to get their support. Now we know that some of those people are already helping. Like I made a call a couple weeks ago to a business I do. I shop at, and they already told me that they give daily to one of the local shelters,
Okay.
which is awesome. So we stopped for a moment and we're going to try to collect that information because I don't want to go to a store and say, gee, give us your food, only to find out they're supporting another charity.
Yes.
So we want to say thank you for supporting this charity. They pick up, I'm making up an example,
Mhm.
on Mondays. Would there be an opportunity for us to pick up a different day of the week? So we don't interfere with what is
Yeah.
there, but could rescue. So we had a local business where they said they picked up on Mondays and Wednesdays. Well, there's 5 other days of the week. Could the rest of us do something there? So, and then the other thing we're working on that I think is really exciting for Council Bluffs is the fact that there are 3 refrigerators planned right now. And we are collaborating because I think it's really poor practice if each one of the 3 went out and called on the same food donors.
Yeah.
That's
It makes
that's
sense.
just poor. So what we are working on at the moment is to have one number for food donors to call, and then we'll take turns monitoring that number and distributing that to the refrigerators. So in that world where we have 3 refrigerators open, Timothy would get one call, All Care would get one call, and the Lakin Campus would get the other one, and then it comes back to me again. And then we would contact our donors to go our volunteers to go
Mhm.
pick up the food. And if, for example, my refrigerator is full, then I could take the excess to one of the other refrigerators and help them out if the donation was too large for what I could handle.
Then you need donations. You need people that can handle maintenance because obviously everything breaks down,
Yeah,
and you're going to want to know that it is still operational.
right,
Um, this is me guessing
right.
that it would need to be protected somewhat from the elements.
Yeah, the refrigerator sits inside this shelter, and we've asked for ours to have automatic closures on the doors
Okay.
because we already know that some of our clients forget to close the doors. And so we want to protect that refrigerator.
Hmm.
So the unit sits up against a wall. In our case, the electrical work's already done. So we're ready to rock and roll. And then the shelter has doors that protect it. And our plan is to put the hygiene items that we have already in the shelving and to put non perishable food in the other side. The idea is we know that food donors may not be consistent, meaning, for example, Des Moines history is their heaviest days for donations are Mondays and Tuesdays. So that's probably what didn't sell over the weekend. And they say they get few calls on Thursdays and Fridays. Well, that's great, but what if I'm the hungry person on a Thursday? What do I do?
Right.
So, our plan is to collect non perishables. And on the days when the refrigerator is empty, we'll put non perishables into the shelving section so the family could still find something to eat that day.
Did the idea for this come from just someone talking about what was going on in Des Moines and you or someone else said, "Hey, I think we can make that work." How did that transition happen?
Well, what happened is I was talking to Iowa West Foundation, and I complained that we were struggling on the west end of Council Bluffs. My church is located at 31st and West
Yep.
Broadway. And about a year and a half ago, the big food pantry in our part of town had an opportunity to move to a brand new facility somewhere else. So it left our part of town without a major food pantry. And we can see a difference in our community as a result of that. So my story is one day I was filling the box out front with the toothpaste, the
Mhm.
toothbrushes, soap, that sort of thing. And a gentleman walked up to me and he was just politely waiting. And I said, is there something special you're looking for? And he goes, well, I was hungry and I was just looking for a snack. And so it sort of opened your eyes. This was just a man who lived in our neighborhood, and it was the middle of the afternoon, and he was hungry. And so it just sort of brings home to us how often we see somebody looking for food, or somebody knocks on the door of the church and said, "Can I have some money for I'm hungry?" And so those things were already in my mind, and I mentioned the absence of a food pantry on our part of town, and the Iowa West Foundation people told us about Saving Grace, and that was the inspiration for us. We were already seeing the deficit in our neighborhood,
Right.
and so this is an opportunity. So the biggest component that a location has to do is really volunteers, because the cost of utilities on the refrigerator for a year is less than $200. So we had a donor pay for the electrical work.
Mhm.
And so right now I'm over 20 volunteers in the program and we haven't started yet.
Wow. And are those all like through your church? Or are they coming from different
Um,
places?
it starts, of course, with your group.
Mhm.
So it starts with our church family, and our church family knows that our neighborhood's struggling with food insecurity. We know that because we see it all the time. And so we felt called to do something. So when this idea came about, we said, this fits us. We don't have the wherewithal to run a full blown food pantry. And at one time, Timothy had a meal site a long time ago. And our circumstances have changed where those things are hard for us. But this is something we can do. And it's not particularly demanding on a particular individual. So we've been working on it since last year, and we're grateful that Iowa West gave us the idea. And so then we've been trying to make all that work since then.
Good mornings start with peace of mind. My Nurse Healthcare provides professional in-home support where it matters most, helping individuals maintain comfort, dignity, and independence in their daily lives. Their experienced nursing team focuses on personalized care, clear communication, and supporting families through every step of the process. It is healthcare built on trust, compassion, and real relationships. Learn more at mynursehealthcare.com. Morning coffee supported by Bryce Taylor and GLI Insurance Group, serving Council Bluffs, Tabor, and Clarinda. Springtime in Iowa. A good time to take 5 minutes and make sure your home, vehicles, and anything you're pulling out for warmer weather are properly covered. Bryce and the GLI team live and work right here in our communities and are always happy to help you head into spring with confidence. GLI Insurance Group, local service, all seasons. I with everything that happened with me and with the loss of the equipment and everything coming back, obviously the online algorithm starts showing me all of this different stuff.
Right.
And one of the things that I just saw was, I don't remember who it was, might have been Tony Robbins. I don't remember, but it talked about if you are feeling overwhelmed by a problem, the fastest way to feel better is to go help somebody else.
Yeah, I
And
agree.
and to because it takes you out of your own mind.
Yes.
And listen,
Yes.
yeah, all of my equipment was suddenly missing, but I
Right.
wasn't hungry.
No.
And had I been hungry, all of my equipment missing would have not been at the top of my list.
No, it
No.
wouldn't. Hunger is a basic issue. And I think this just makes so much sense. And part of this program also, to give some plugs to others, applies to community gardens. So let's just say I'm a backyard gardener. There are times of the year where there's extra cucumbers or tomatoes or whatever, and those items can be put into the refrigerator as well. And we've been talking to some of the people who operate community gardens. And the Extension Service is currently working a program where they're saying plant an extra row. So if you're the gardener, maybe an extra row of peppers or an extra row of tomatoes, and then donate the extra row. You're tending your garden anyhow. Plant more than you need. And so we're appealing to personal gardeners, and I'll use us. I can tell you when we've traveled before, okay? It's the night before you're leaving town and you open your refrigerators. Oh, there's apples and carrots and whatever. And what do we do with it? We throw it in the trash because we're leaving town tomorrow.
Mhm.
Well, part of this program is if you tell people, then they can bring that and put in your refrigerator before they leave town. And so everybody has the ability to help, either by volunteering or their garden, or you're traveling and you have extra something, that you could just go put it in a refrigerator.
Is this something that you or organizers need to know what's coming before, or is it something people can just drop off?
They can just drop off. They can drop off. And so that actually is designed so the refrigerators that Saving Grace funds actually have a I'm going to call it a flyer on the front that said, if you wouldn't eat it, don't put it inside,
Right.
that sort of thing.
Yeah.
And so there's just a few guidelines. But yes, if you had tomatoes or you had a half a bag of carrots, where you're going to peel them and clean them anyhow, that you could put them in the refrigerator without anybody
I'm
asking.
thinking I cook with celery, but I don't eat it.
I,
So and usually if I'm making something, I don't need all of it.
no, I don't
And it
either.
just sits there in the refrigerator until it goes bad. So this would be a great opportunity for
Yeah,
just something simple
right.
like that. And I'm
Right.
sure that people have their own things that
Right.
that happens with.
And we've already been speaking to the people who run the Thursday night farmers market.
Mhm.
I did not know that most people who have produce don't want to take unsold produce home at the end of the evening. So we've got a pickup plan where various charities in town are taking turns picking up what did not sell on Thursday night. And some of them are taking it into their kitchens,
Mhm.
and others are like us are going to put it in our community refrigerator when it's our turn to pick up.
So it sounds like it's just a wonderful program that we can. I witnessed a community come together over the past few days.
Yeah.
I might get emotional with this, so I'm sorry,
No.
but I know that the desire to support each other
Right.
and the desire to make sure that our neighbors are taken care of,
Right.
it's there now. I witnessed it. I witnessed
Absolutely.
it happen.
Right.
So I can see how this could be just a wonderful way for folks
Yeah.
to be able to make sure that, hey, your neighbors may not be telling you that they don't have any food that night,
Right.
but you
Yeah.
know, this is a way to
Exactly.
be able to take care of it. And you don't even have to, you can stay anonymous,
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So the idea is that if I'm struggling and I don't want somebody to see, I can come to the refrigerator at 3 o'clock in the morning if I want,
Mhm.
or 3 in the afternoon because it's never locked. And our goal is that we will put hands on it every day. So let's just say there's a container of mac and cheese and the lid pops off and it
Mhm.
spills. Well, we want to clean that up so that it looks good. So we're going to put hands on the refrigerators every day. And if there's trash or a container gets opened, clean that up. And if we have additional food, we will add it that at that time. So we are working on a rotation where you have 14 people and they work once every 2 weeks, and that's their turn to take care of the refrigerator.
Is there any kind of information, contact information? How do people learn more?
Okay, we're working on several things right now. We are the first refrigerator opening, Timothy Lutheran Church, 31st and West Broadway. And if they want to work with us, again, we're the first ones up.
Mhm.
We are glad to have more volunteers. I'm particularly looking for people who could answer the call when ABC grocery store calls and says, I have food and I need to have it picked up by 3 o'clock on Wednesday. Okay. to go pick up that food and either bring it back and help them repackage it. So that's where I have a need. And our church number is 712-323-0693. And so they can call us anytime. The others, All Care is targeting September opening,
Okay.
and they're going to be opening up on 9th Avenue where the clinic is. And the other refrigerator is the Lakin Campus, so that'll be located between 15th and 16th, and they have not set a date yet. So initially, we'll be taking all the calls, and then, later we'll take turns.
Well,
Okay, so for us, that's where we are. And we've also been working with the Human Services Advisory Council, and the Food Access Committee has been taking a lot of leadership on this, and they're going to be posting a flyer up that says coming soon and listing all the locations and contact people for those. So we've got that coming up soon. We are currently working on a flyer that would go to all the food donors. So regardless if you make the call, I make the call, or someone from All Care makes the call, we have the same flyer, same phone number, etc. So we're getting a consistent message out. And like I said, we're putting the list together now so that I may have these 20 food producers, someone else has a different 20, and begin calling on them later this month.
well, there you go. That's how you can get involved with a wonderful community project. Nancy Ruffcorn, thank you for your work. Thank you
You
for
are so
this
welcome.
coming in and talking with us today. If you do me a favor, hit like, hit follow, hit share, help spread this information even further, and we can let even more folks know of the wonderful things that are happening right here in our community. So that's going to wrap things up. Thanks for watching. My name is Todd Studer, and we will see you next time.